Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Say yeah! Woohoo! Oh, that's a great line. That is a great line.
Almost fucking killed me! You're welcome!
Hey guys, what's up? I've decided to get this series back up, the Let's Talk About series that we're starting to get up back today, because there's been a lot of news. I've been very busy since I last uploaded another one of these series, uploading this series, but I want to start getting back into it. I'm still reacting stuff, still doing this, but I also want to start covering movie news a bit more. And there's a bit more I want to talk about, not just movie news, but game stuff, and all that. And but yeah, let's talk about some of the reports that are interesting me. We're talking about four things today. Four things. So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, let's talk about this first thing that I want to talk about first. And it is about the movie 28 Days Later, which came out forever ago. So this is by the Hollywood Reporter. The zombie sequel 28 Years Later lands at Sony. Daniel Boyle, Alex Garland are behind the long gestating 20 Days Later sequel, which could launch a trilogy of zombie films and may return Cillian Murphy to the breakout role. And I think this is a great idea. I think it's great that they're going back to 28 Days Later. Cillian Murphy is a much more high star now than he was when he made this movie. He is... Let's just say he's very probably going to be sought after he wins that Oscar, which I believe he has a chance to win that Oscar. It's either him or Paul Giamatti who are going to win that Oscar, but I think he has a very good chance to win it. And I believe it was also announced a couple days ago that he would be a producer on this film, which might mean he might star in this film. And I've watched this movie. I have watched this movie, and it's very terrifying. It's a very scary movie. And, that's all I can really say about it. I watched it a few years ago. I thought it was a very good movie. But, I never had the inclination that I wanted to return to it. But, how they're doing it 28 years later. Cillian, he's more grown up. And we're going to be going back to this sequel. So, yeah, that's all. That's all I can really say about it. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? Please leave in the comments down below. Alright, now let's move on to the bigger topics I want to talk about. The first one is going to be something that we all know now. It is the official article by Deadline that Supergirl has been cast. Supergirl, new Woman of Steel, is House of the Dragon's Miley Alcock. Now, we've been following this I've been following this. I believe all of you who are watching this have been following this for the past few months, where James Gunn has been kind of narrowing down the castings for his new DCU. And I believe the finalists for this was announced a week ago was Miley Alcock and Meg Donnelly, which I was like, okay, those two are very promising. And if Meg Donnelly was cast, I would have been okay with it. But Miley Alcock, this I think. This is not just big for her, but big for the DCU. Because, she was she was the star of the House of the Dragon series. Every time I was watching it, I loved her. And, I always wanted to do more flashbacks with her character. And she was so good on screen, And, I just enjoyed her so much. And, when I look at what the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book is about, she fits perfectly for this. And if it was Sasha Calle, I think she would have been perfect for this as well. Because this is a Supergirl who is not that kind of naive, Kryptonian who crashes on Earth, who doesn't know anything. This is a Supergirl who is badass. In the comic book, if you guys don't know, probably you've heard a lot from other people, is where, she goes to this planet to get drunk. Because she can't get drunk on Earth, because the red sun, causes her body to replenish herself so she can never get drunk. She's like, I want to go get drunk. I want to go party. I don't want to be, this savior of the world. And she goes and gets drunk, and then she ends up getting attacked, but she has no powers on this planet. So she bleeds, and like she's very violent. She swears, uh, and it's a very very interesting take on Supergirl. And I think it has a really good potential. This to be a really cool and great action sci-fi movie. And also, like, I feel like we've never Supergirl. I think has been on a rough patch so far. You know, we've had. It's weird to think that we've had like almost like five Supergirls already, and like none of them have really hit the mark great. You know, we had, Helen Slater as the Supergirl in that like Supergirl movie, kind of like back in like the 80s. You know, where it was kind of Christopher Reeve Superman. Then we got Supergirl from Smallville. Then we got Melissa Benoist for the Supergirl series, which was probably like the most like we've ever seen a Supergirl, but not really the Supergirl like I kind of really ever wanted to see. And then we had Sasha Calle as Supergirl, which I thought she was very enjoyable, but she was supposed to be the next part of DCEU, the next big hitter, but that went to plan when James Gunn took over. And now you're going to go tell a Supergirl movie. And when they announced, also when they're doing this, like, putting Supergirl in Phase 1, I'm like, okay, you're putting Supergirl first. Like, that's pretty interesting. And, like, this, probably, I think, the most important projects for DC is Superman Legacy, this Supergirl movie, and the Batman Brave and the Bold. Because those are really going to tell audiences, what your universe is about. Like, how can you, like, for me, like, when I want to go see these DC movies, I don't want to go see exactly what Marvel's doing. I don't want to see what Marvel, we just build up, build up, build up. I want to see something different, I want to see, I want, like, this to be an action sci-fi movie, kind of like, in the realms of, like, Star Wars and Star Trek. And then if I'm going to watch Batman Brave the Bold, I want, kind of like a crime thriller about a man who's been alone, but also now has a son who he has to deal with opening himself up to possibilities of, how am I a father to this kid I haven't known who's an assassin? How do I make sure he doesn't end up like me? And for Legacy, that's where we're going to introduce to most of the new heroes of DCU, like a Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, spawning that world in a world full of superheroes. And also, maybe Millie's going to show up in Superman Legacy in like a post-credit scene. But, or maybe Supergirl might be already established in this DCU when we meet her. Because I don't think you might need to do an origin for her. You might not have to, because there have been 5 different Supergirls, just how, like, we're not really doing an origin story for Superman. It's more of, I think the Superman Legacy movie is going to, like, be Clark Kent finding his place as Superman, but also finding his place as Clark Kent. Like, how does he manage both those things at the same time, And, like, the world's filling up with metahumans and all that. But overall, I think this is a terrific casting, and it's going to do great for Millie Alcock's career, She's young. She is going to probably be set up as a really big character going on in this universe. She could, in my opinion, like, she could be the Black Widow, like, of this universe. And I don't want to compare Marvel and DC, because I think the DCU is going to be vastly different right now. It's going to be vastly different, and I hope it is, because when we go see these DC movies, I feel like the DCEU tried to copy Marvel, and I don't want it. I think James Gunn has a vision, he has a story he's building to, and I think the castings he has done so far have been terrific. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Now let's jump into the other side of the superhero spectrum with the Fantastic Four. A report has come out. It was published a few days ago by CBR, comicbook.com. So basically, is that the report is the MCU's Fantastic Four undergoing rewrites once again. Now, which also might mean this movie might face another delay, which is going to saying. So, really, like, this, people are freaking out, like, oh no, it's Fantastic Four. Oh, they're rewriting the script. I'm like, that's okay. I'm not freaking out about this, because, they need to take as much time as they need writing this Fantastic Four movie. Because you look at the other Fantastic Four movies, like, the original Fantastic Four is okay. But after that, Nothing. None of it was great. None of it was awesome. It never really felt like Fantastic Four to me. It just felt like, oh, we're gonna slap Fantastic Four in this, and I'll do this. Have Reed Richards dancing in a club and spinning a bunch of girls, and having Sue Storm be the weakest freaking person and collapsing every single time she uses her powers. I'm like, that's just dumb. Like, this is Fantastic Four has been struggling both in the entertainment in movies and TV, but also struggling in the comic section. They a few years ago they had a Fantastic Four comic. They were going on. They canceled it because no one was reading Fantastic Four. Now the thing is, also we don't know what time period this takes place. We don't even know the cast. We don't know a whole lot about anything about this movie. All we know about this movie is Matt Shakman is directing it, and Marvel's working on it. But the thing is, I'm not giving up hope yet because I believe Matt Shakman will. I have a feeling he's going to knock it out of the park because, he is an up and rising director. I feel like he could be, the next Jon Favreau / Russo brother for the MCU, because he has been killing it with the TV space. He did WandaVision, was great. He did the Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which was great. But those are TV shows. Doing a TV show is different than doing a movie. And, I really hope that he can make a Fantastic Four movie that not just the comic book audience would love, but just like your normal audience member will love, going to see a character, seeing the relationship, between Reed and Sue, seeing, Johnny and Ben Grimm at each other, having Johnny, be funny. Johnny, one of my... I'm going to go back to, a comic book I really love, which is the Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man comic run they did back in the 2000s, where that did feature Johnny Storm in it. And Johnny Storm in that is a playboy, He's this guy who's like, oh, I'm so cool, I have these powers and I can pick up people. But also in the comic, he's dealing with the fact that, he might not be able to have a normal relationship. He falls in love with Liz Allen in that Ultimate Comics Spider-Man run. And, Liz in that comic series is definitely afraid of powered individuals, especially mutants. And, Johnny, goes through his face I don't know if I can tell her if I'm this person. What if I tell her and she ends up hating me? Him dealing with that existential crisis of, what if the woman I love right now is going to reject me because I tell her that I have these powers? And I would love to see Johnny Storm like that. And, right now the rumor casting for Johnny is Joseph Quinn, which I think will be a terrific casting for him. But, I think they just need to announce more about this movie to get people excited. You got to build the build-up. We have been sitting and rumoring for this cast for too long. And Marvel, I'm telling you this, you need to announce this. You don't wait for a Comic-Con. You don't need to wait for something. You just need to be okay, this is the cast. This is what we're doing. This is the schedule. This is when this movie's coming out. Because, Marvel, in my opinion, has been on this thing where it's let's just keep delaying movies until they're perfect, I think a lot of people want to see, oh, we want to see the perfect Marvel movie. I'm you don't need to make the perfect Marvel movie. You don't need to make a perfect movie, in my opinion. You just need to make a story worth telling, What is the story you want to tell with Fantastic Four? Why do we need Fantastic Four in this expansive and massive MCU, What are they going to contribute that's different from other people? That's what you should be doing, and not just because you want to make money off it, I think since Kevin Feige's gotten his control back, Marvel is now he's able to control more of what projects are going to be done, we won't get some of the things they've been doing, why did we need that Secret Invasion show? We did not need that at all. Why are we introducing so many superheroes and being oh, there's no Avengers, there's a giant robot in the middle of the ocean, no one's talking about this, we just need... I'm not asking for a cohesive universe, That comes second to everything, Marvel, the goal of a movie is that you're supposed to tell... That movie is supposed to be a good movie, Tell a beginning, a middle, an end for a movie, That is what you should tell. And I think, that if Deadpool 3 does not work out, which I'm a bit nervous for, I'm a bit nervous that maybe it won't work out because... I love Sean Levy as a director, but he's been very hit and miss for me as a director. But, they are rewriting the Fantastic Four script right now. I'm hopeful that Matt Shackman knows what he's doing, and I am excited to see when this cast is maybe announced next week. All right, let's move on to this final topic here. And if you guys did not know, like we're gonna move back over to DC. We're moving back over to DC, where it's been a year since James Gunn has announced that slate. So this is by Deadline says James Gunn says Superman Legacy is about to start production and teases DC slate marking a year since announcement. Now this is kind of like, oh, it's been out for a year, and people have been asking him, James on Twitter, okay, is the DC universe that you announced, is that it for Phase 1, or is there more? And I love James Gunn's response to it. He said, basically, like, I read this morning, I read what he said this morning. Basically, to summarize it, like James Gunn was saying, like, they're not deciding just to do movies because they want to do a character. They're like, okay, if we hear a good pitch, a good script, and we're like, this could make a fantastic movie, we're going to make that movie, basically. And I think that's a great way to go for it, because, Marvel was all about, setting up all these movies, setting up Iron Man, Thor, Spider-Man, Captain America, all those characters before they all met each other. I think the difference is James Gunn's bringing, like, all right, if you have a script on, let's just say, Adam Strange, and it's like this epic sci-fi adventure, about this guy who goes into space and, lives on a planet, falling in love, and it's a great story. It's like, okay, we're going to make that movie. Or it's a TV show. It's like that is great. Just them wanting to make good films. That should be your James Gunn's job should not be trying, okay, how do we make a cohesive universe? I think his goal right now is just to make good movies, because DC is like the ugly step sibling to Marvel right now. It's like, oh, it's a DC movie. Oh, it's going to be bad. Oh, it's going to be cheesy, Don't get me wrong, like, I love most of the DC movies. I love most of them. Like, I like Aquaman too. But that doesn't mean I was the greatest DC movie ever. It wasn't. And, they made The Flash. The Flash, everyone's like, this is the best superhero movie ever. Personally, The Flash, in my opinion, was okay. It was okay. But, James Gunn, I think, is the person you want ahead, because if you really look at James Gunn's, resume, I have never seen a bad thing James Gunn's done, If you look at his early work with Sliver, you look at what he did with the Guardians movies, what he's doing, with Peacemaker, what he did with the Suicide Squad, making one of the best DCEU movies, in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite DCU movies, tied with me for Wonder Woman. James Gunn, he knows the comic genre. He knows what stories, like, us comic fans will want to see. Sorry. And he also knows what, if the comic fans like this, maybe the audience will start to like it. And I think, you put James Gunn in that movie, you're going to attract attention, Even though the Suicide Squad did not make money, because that was still a time of COVID. I say you release that movie, no COVID, that movie probably makes maybe $400 to $500 million. And that's good. Because just the name James Gunn, you hear James Gunn, oh, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, I want to go see a guy who directed Guardians of the Galaxy do a Superman movie, People have also been saying, like, oh, James Gunn's ruining DC already. I'm like, you can't judge a book by its cover. James Gunn, he has done nothing for DCU yet. He has done nothing yet. We have not seen any test footage, no like behind the look teases. We've seen concept art. I follow James Gunn on Instagram. He's always posting, like, just looking over Superman storyboards right now. Going to go to look at sites to shoot the film. This morning, he was like off to see the tech support guys, but wearing this like Superman sweater. I'm like, that's the guy you want, right? You want people excited about this stuff. You want them to want to make a superhero movie, not look at it as like, oh, it's a superhero movie. Well, I guess I'll do this. You want people to be like, yes, I want to make a Superman movie. Yes, I want to make a Batman movie. I want to do this with Batman, I want to do this and this and that. And that's the people you want making these movies. That's what you want, people who love this stuff. You don't want a person who's going to just half-ass a director or actor going there and be like, okay, I'm just doing this to make my... Because, like, if I do a superhero movie, my career is going to take off. No, you want people who want this stuff. You want... Because you sign someone like that, you're not going to get... Your universe is not going to go start off good. It's not off bad. You want people who love it. But anyways, guys, that is it for this episode, guys. That is it. That's it. That's all we're going to cover today. Thank you guys so much for watching me talk about this stuff. You know, I know it's a lot of superhero stuff, but that's the stuff I'm really passionate about. And, you know, what I'm excited about. So, if there's anything else you guys want me to talk about during these videos of our Let's Talk About series, because we are bringing it back, please let me know. Please tell me in the comments. Please like this video and watch it. And please subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one.